Hey there guys, and welcome to FP1 and welcome back for the last ever episode of the Podium podcast. We're here after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and after the amazing races that we've had in the 2020 season. It does feel like a bit of a shame to end it on this one. I think these next 20 minutes could be filled full of a lot of rambling, but thankfully I've not got one but two guests to help me out today. Go back to March. I did my first collab on the channel. I was, really privileged to be joined by two brilliant guys from the F1 debate show. They're back again. It's going to come all full circle, hasn't it? Jordan and Lyle, how you doing?
You're good, mate. Thank you so much for having us on. Looking forward to it. Digesting the brilliant race that was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
And brilliant guys, Will. Who were they?
Yeah, who are they?
They're not on here. Who's the brilliant?
Sorry,
guy?
if I joined. Oh no, I've joined the wrong Zoom call. Sorry, my bad.
It happens. It's happened before. I joined the wrong one. I joined the wrong call back in 2016 Australia, and I've not managed to shake the guy.
I don't know this guy's name. I don't know what he's called. Just a random guy. Who are you?
Oh yeah, well I'll put up with you two clowns for now. Then I think that's the way we'll have to go. But let's. I've really offended Jordan there. I'm sorry. Sorry. These two Ferrari strategists. No, hang on. That's the same thing, isn't it? Anyway, we're here to talk about Abu Dhabi. You can see we're rambling already. We've managed 2 minutes in. We're doing all right. We're 10% through the video. We're doing all right. But let's Jordan. We'll start with you.
Okay.
What did you think of that one? If you can sum it up for us.
It was probably one of the worst races I've seen in a very long time, and I know we said it at the start of the year when we were going through the pandemic and that we were all in lockdown. We had no Formula One. We all said we wouldn't complain about a boring race again, but here I am complaining about a boring race because, quite frankly, don't get me wrong, Abu Dhabi. The scenery is a beautiful location to host a Grand Prix event. It is like if Monaco was a proper Grand Prix circuit, this would be it. It's got the harbour, it's got the beautiful hotel, it's got the nice lights. Oh, it's beautiful. But by God, that is a really bad circuit. Oh my word. I was on my phone about more times than I was watching the race. It was horrendous. Really bad.
Yeah, no, agreed. Lyle, what about you?
Same with Jordan. I was thinking there. We said we were never going to complain. Again, it was just nice to see Formula One there, and I've got to say not just the scenery, but kind of the atmosphere. We're watching it. We're 2 weeks away from Christmas, as it's the latest finish to a Formula One season ever. It's been an incredible season. It's been 17 races in 23 weeks. It's been absolutely incredible. And how Formula One, all these different events has been great. I've been to Abu Dhabi as well, so again, I like to see the scenery and do like an old, grand uncle off Only Fools and go, I've been there. Look at that place. Look at that grandstand. I've been there. It wasn't the most entertaining for sure. It was great to see Red Bull get a win though. To think that, and when they said that, it was first pole position for Max Verstappen or Red Bull Racing since Brazil 2019, over a year ago. It's been absolutely incredible. That was insane. So from then it was a good race, but pretty much procession. Obviously we'll get into it probably later, but Sergio Perez, the sole retiree, very very unfortunate for him and his very last race in Formula One at the moment. Let's just hope that we are wrong, but when this video comes out, hopefully we're not speaking like ill of saying he's not in Formula One, but obviously at that time he wasn't. Just a boring race. Will, not much to say. And on my race reaction, I stressed it out for as long as I could, much like David Croft and Martin Brundle were doing, just talking about like Abu Dhabi and just really pulling that forward. And also as well, wasn't the best part of this weekend not the current 2020 Formula One cars, but can we all agree, and I think we are, the 2005 R25 driven by Fernando Alonso. Was that not the highlight of the weekend?
That was beautiful. Yeah, just the sounds, the pure sound. That was it. Was it a V6 engine? I think they have in the R25. Have they switched to V8s? I think it was a V6.
It was a V10. It was
V10. Sorry.
This is the year before.
Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, I don't know why I said.
Loud cars.
What have I done? I'm an engineer. I shouldn't have said V6. What am I playing at? V10. That's what I meant. You've embarrassed yourself.
I remember they were doing an interview with Toto Wolff on. Loads of drivers did it, but I remember I was watching an interview with Toto Wolff on the Saturday night. It was Simon Lazenby, Anthony Davidson, and obviously Toto Wolff. And the V10 was going round, and everyone was watching the cars. And again, they were getting sidetracked because you can't hear yourself. And it is an amazing sight to see. We very rarely get to see that. Last year Jenson Button drove his 2009 Braun around, again a very loud, incredible car, but nothing like that. And I remember Toto Wolff was getting a bit annoyed, but I'm like, what do you expect? People are obviously going to want to watch. I mean, you had people like Esteban Ocon, George Russell, and all the phones from the pit guys. And I was just thinking, I was like, even though they work in the best sport in the world, and we absolutely adore it, and we're talking about it right now, they're still kind of Formula One fans at heart, aren't they? Because you saw all the pit crew having all the phones out, watching, video and Fernando come past, and I was like, that's what it's all about. It's not just a job for them. It's their passion, like ours, and it really showed. Just seeing all the phones, and do you get what I mean? Like, everyone just love and adoring this car that most of them probably won't have even seen. And we obviously also loved it as well on the telly. And for me, it was highlight of the week. Even if it was a good race, it'd have been a highlight of the weekend. I absolutely loved that moment by Alonso.
100%. And you mentioned earlier there, Max Verstappen obviously taking the win. Usually the Verstappen races where he wins are quite exciting ones. Obviously not yesterday, but it does set an interesting question for next year. I think, can Red Bull maybe I know we say this every year, or either it's Ferrari or Red Bull, but could Red Bull take the fight to Merc next year? I feel like we've asked this before, but what do you think on that one? With the pace that they have and the cars being kept over, could they finally strike a competitive challenge?
Ooh,
hopefully.
The word from the Honda camp, though, is the fact that they've got a new engine. They're very positive about this engine upgrade that they're bringing in next season. And Red Bull always producing good chassis. They've just never had the power in recent years. So that's where they've kind of been compromised. But they're always building up the hype in pre-season. It's always like, okay, we are going to challenge Mercedes. We are going to be beating them. We're going to be matching them. This is the year we're going to catch them. And every single year, they're always the third fastest car. Well, in this season they were the second fastest car, but they're always they're always on the back foot by about 5-6 tenths, and every so often they'll get close, and it's always at the end of the year Red Bull will be very close to Mercedes, like we've seen in Abu Dhabi. Yes, alright, Mercedes were nursing some reliability issues, but even so, Red Bull looked on pace all weekend, and it was pretty good to see. And it was like, well, Red Bull, what does Martin Brundle say? I love that saying. You're a day late and $1 short. That is literally what Red Bull were. It's like you are. But can they take the fight next season? I would like to think they can. But like you said there, Will, we've been here before, and every single year they've let us down. So I'm like, I don't want to get my hopes up. So I'm on the fence. I'm like, it's sounding positive, but I don't want to be like too excited to see maybe a title fight between Red Bull and Mercedes next season, because if there's any team that could do that, it is going to be those two. It won't be Ferrari, despite yes, they're bringing a new engine next season, but with the little changes in the car itself, I can't see Ferrari making that much of a step forward. However, Red Bull with the new engine, could that be the key to push them alongside Mercedes? But what's Mercedes got up their sleeve? You know what I mean? You don't know, but I would like to think so, but I'm not going to get my hopes up just yet.
Yeah, I think. Go on, Lyle.
Yeah, it's just exactly what John said there. But the only, he said about Red Bull letting us down. I actually think that Red Bull are doing as much as they can, and I do think that next year is going to be a massive push. Honda are only in for one more year, so I think they're going to give everything to Red Bull and also AlphaTauri as well. Obviously, they know Max Verstappen can win the title. They know he's the number one driver for sure. He's probably one of the most one-sided teams in Formula One right now, where they're giving everything to that number one driver. We don't even really see that. I mean, even Mercedes are trying to spread it, between Lewis, and they're trying to give Valtteri the tools. Obviously, he's coming under a lot of fire right now, and we still don't know what's happening with the second Red Bull seat. But I don't think it's Red Bull letting us down. I think it's just Mercedes, increasing the gap, holding it or increasing it. This year, of course, we saw the DAS system, which kind of it flew under the radar apparently on like the technical side. Apparently, a lot more teams could have done this, but of course, when it turned up in I think that about the day 3 or something of the first week of winter testing, and Mercedes started showing this, and it went viral on the internet. It was kind of like everyone was standing around going, why didn't I think of that? Apparently, it was easy that Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Renault, they could have easily done this apparently. But of course, that was then ruled out of the equation for next year. It won't be included. But again, Mercedes just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and they're already on innovating. The 2022 regulations. They've almost left the 21 car. The W12 is going to be it's already sorted. It probably already was sorted by even before we even got to Austria, kind of thing. Mercedes are just so far ahead of the pack. let alone to say that they have a 7-time world champion going for 8 and just, he's gonna break into 3 digits in kind of all the records he holds. But he's on 97 pole positions, I think it is. He's going for over 100 pole positions. He's going for over 100 wins, and obviously chasing 8 as well. It's just, I think Mercedes is honestly running away with this, and I think Red Bull can get closer. I think when we'll be sitting here this time next year and saying, they've got more points. Hopefully they're in a stronger situation. Both Verstappen is, he can secure a second. Hopefully they've got a stronger second driver, whether that be Albon, whether that be Perez. It doesn't matter. Hopefully they can have a stronger fight in the constructors as well. Again, they very much secured second. It's not really, they can't fall, to third. McLaren had really no chance of catching Red Bull, and of course they had no chance of catching Mercedes. So it's kind of like they're stuck in no man's land. So even if Red Bull can improve, I feel like they're still going to be in no man's land. They're going to be this kind of, they're not going to be Mercedes. They're not going to be at the front, but they're not going to be like in the midfield. And hopefully they can still maintain that. But as I say, even though Red Bull can hopefully take the fight, I'm more interested in and I'm more excited about, third place McLaren and, the midfield teams. I mean, look at who we had win races this year. We had an AlphaTauri win a race. We've had many podiums by some of the midfield drivers. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris have both gone to the podium. Carlos Sainz very close to his first win. We saw a pole position by Lance Stroll in the Racing Point. We saw a win by Sergio Perez in the Racing Point. It's been absolutely incredible. I think the midfield is the thing that I'm taking away from this season alone over everything else. I mean, yes, Lewis was great. Obviously, he's nominated for Spotty in 2 weeks. He's probably going to get knighted as well. Yes, of course, I'd like to see a big fight at the front, but the midfield this year has been absolutely incredible. And Will, that's my takeaway from this year. The midfield battles have been absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no, I agree. And obviously, hats off to McLaren taking P3. I saw a graphic, and I've completely forgotten. Back in 2017, they were 9th.
Yep.
They were 9th in championship with that Honda engine that shook itself apart. And I think there was one point in Spa where the car was so quick the Honda engine got confused. And the fact they've turned it around in a relatively short space of time. Let's be honest, for Formula One terms as well, that's really impressive. That is really, really impressive. Obviously, Ferrari, they turned it around. They had the aid of the big technical regulation in 2017, and then they obviously fell back again. But we moved. But McLaren, they've 2017 was their low point. Even if you think 15 and 16 were bad, but 17 was a really low point. And they've worked themselves back up steadily up to third, which is, really, really impressive for them. And I agree. I think that the title fight, it's going to be closer than it was before, but I think it'll probably still go Mercedes' way. But yeah, that midfield battle is going to be interesting. See if maybe AlphaTauri and Ferrari can get themselves in the mix. See what they can do as well. Another point that you briefly touched on there with Red Bull for next year, and obviously we don't know what's happening with that second seat yet. Alex Albon finished 4th in what I think was really one of his best performances of the season, if I'm honest. He had that aid of the safety car to begin with, but even then, that was only 10 laps into the race, and he did stick a lot closer to the top 3 than he usually does. Usually he'll end up 50, 60 seconds behind his teammate. That wasn't really the case this weekend, and you mentioned there, Red Bull have one of their best shots in a long time next year. Should they keep Albon then? With that in mind, now they have this pace, or now Perez is effectively a free agent. He had his CV effectively written on his helmet today. What do you think is going to happen there? Who is going to take that seat? Jordan, if we start with you on this one.
See, I was the one where I thought, thinking they will stick with Albon purely because it's Red Bull. They don't want to be. They want to be seen as the program has worked, that the plan had worked. You know what I mean? But Albon, he has struggled this season massively, like Gasly did, and Red Bull stuck by Albon, which I thought was the right choice. And I said they should have done this with Gasly in 19, but never mind. This season they did stick with Albon. Is it good enough? Probably not. I mean, you look at like Lewis Hamilton outscored an entire Formula One team, and that I think that proves how poorly Albon has performed this season in that scale of things. Because a team like Red Bull should be getting not like close to Mercedes, but like relatively more points than what they have this season. And Mercedes are on another level, by the way. This isn't just like battering Red Bull. Mercedes have just been next level, and that's making the other teams look even worse. Like Ferrari even worse than they are. Red Bull even worse than they have been this season. And Max has been superb. absolutely superb this season. One of the drivers of the season, definitely by a country mile. But if Red Bull want to challenge Mercedes next season, you need Perez in that seat. Now, Perez isn't going to fix all the problems at Red Bull. There's many problems going on behind the scenes of Red Bull, maybe more than what we don't know about. There's a reason why Albon's not performing, and there's a reason why Gasly's not performing. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. That car is more towards Verstappen. Yes, there is that. There is that added pressure on Albon because, and there was on Gasly. They didn't deliver. The car doesn't crash itself, if you know what I mean. But ultimately, when the car's not crashing and Albon's 5 or 6 tenths away, it doesn't. It's not suiting his style. So if Perez comes in and he's about the same kind of pace off Verstappen, then you've got to go. That's 3 drivers now that have come in and are nowhere near Verstappen. Verstappen's good, but these drivers aren't that bad. You know what I mean? So, I do believe Perez can get more out of the car than what Albon can. Definitely sure. So if they do want to challenge Mercedes next season, you need Perez alongside Max Verstappen. If they do stick with Albon, maybe he could, I don't know, just come out of nowhere and be like, wow, Albon's actually done well this year. Because that can happen. That has happened. But after this season, I'm not that confident. I like Albon as a guy. He's very nice, and many people have said this. But I think they do need to go for Perez. I will predict Perez. There is talk of that Perez is going to be announced this week, apparently. But, anything could happen. But for me, I'll say Sergio Perez.
Yeah, there's been... I mean, Red Bull have been, honestly, such a weird team when it comes to trading places. I mean, I'm still kind of getting over the fact that they got rid of Gasly for Albon back in Hungary last year. But, I mean, firstly, I'm a big fan of Pierre Gasly for sure. And when AlphaTauri signed him quite early on in the season, I thought, why are you doing this? Because I thought the idea was that, and this is, I'm sure this was literally like, Christian Horner said this in Drive to Survive, and this was the point, that Pierre Gasly was going to be demoted to AlphaTauri, the sister team, to work on his problems. To work on, I mean, not that he had any problems, but like kind of build himself up again. They obviously shoved him in that seat, too early to replace Ricciardo. So they would send him back to Toro Rosso, or AlphaTauri even, to basically let him build up a CV, also giving Alex Albon his shot. And if that didn't work, they would twist him back around again. Okay, you've done that with Pierre Gasly. You did in Toro Rosso, then Red Bull, then back to AlphaTauri, and then you did the same with Albon, AlphaTauri to Red Bull. Why don't you reverse it again? But of course, then they signed Pierre Gasly, and then that Pierre Gasly. There was a lot of people saying after Italy, after Monza, that Pierre Gasly shouldn't go back to Red Bull, and I thought he should do, because he did well there. I liked him there. I had his merchandise. That's not going to resell itself. Red Bull, and I thought that he should have been given that chance again. But then he was signed by AlphaTauri, and then that, of course, did not work. Perez is an option, yes. Obviously, he was in a good car this year. The win didn't really accelerate the torque, which I was kind of like, thankfully that it's not the case, because if that was the case, then I'd be thinking, well, okay, Perez has, of course, he deserved the win for sure, but then that means people are going to see he's going to be in that seed. I think they should give Albon more of a chance, and I think he's the only chance for Red Bull to do, because there's no other drivers out there to get. At one point, there was even super sub Nico Hülkenberg, but as Martin Brundle said on Sky on Sunday, nobody mentions his name anymore. I feel like Sergio Perez is done in Formula One. He was a very good driver for sure. He got his race win, but I don't think he's suited for Red Bull, and I think it will be Albon. But I say that though, anyone but Albon, but there's no one actually better than Albon, if that makes sense. But you get what I'm kind of confused myself here, because I do. Alex Albon is not the answer, but the answer is not anyone else. They have to stick. To be honest, they've made their bed of crap, and they have to. What do people say? They have to make it.
You've made your bed now, and you can lie in it. Yeah. Something like that.
That's it. Yeah, something like that. Red Bull have done the damage. You have to see it through. And I know that sounds harsh, calling Alex Albon the damage, but you've done what you have. You demoted Gasly, and then you won a race. Obviously, you never saw that coming. But you have to stick with Albon now. You have to. There's no one else that you can get. And again, and I know that Danny Kvyat, he's still a good driver, but again, on the other side of the pond, with AlphaTauri, are they making that same mistake? Yes, Yuki Tsunoda is a good driver, but what are you doing with Danny Kvyat? He doesn't deserve to go. I think that he's a good driver. It's just the Red Bull program, they've got a way of messing people up. So if you want my advice, guys, if you're watching, if you want to get into Formula 1, do not go down the Red Bull Junior program. It worked for Verstappen, but for Verstappen alone, and maybe Sebastian Vettel. But they've ruined it. So yes, Red Bull, fortunately, Albon. Hopefully he can have a good year next year. He needs that for sure. Otherwise, somebody else will come along and take it, and that somebody could be anyone. They could recall Charles from Ferrari. They could take Pierre again. I mean, remember he's only got a 1-year contract at AlphaTauri. But yeah, I think Red Bull have to. It's almost like they don't just want to do this, or they'd like to do it, or this is their choice. They have to stick with Albon. That's my view. They have to stick with Albon.
Yeah. No, for me, I think, yeah, I've got to agree. Red Bull, they've got to go with Albon. I think Perez is a good option, and I'd be really tempted, but I feel like they're going to go with Albon. I don't think they're going to admit that they failed effectively. But so we'll round off the podcast there. Before we do end things off, guys, do you want to take a little bit of time to tell us what you do on the F1 debate show?
Chat rubbish, really. Don't come over to our channel. I would not recommend it. No, I'm only kidding.
You've heard it from them. You've heard it from them. There you go. All right, that's it. No, I'm checking. Off you go.
Well, no, we just really just talk about the races, talk about real world Formula 1. You know, give weekly news, roundups about what's happening in the world of Formula 1. We try and cover breaking news whenever it breaks. We've got podcasts running at the moment. The 12 days of Christmas podcasts leading up to the big day, and then we're going to switch off for a few weeks and then regain ourselves and think about new ideas for next season. We have got a couple of ideas for new content next season, so we're looking forward to doing them. But you'll probably see more just, you know, race reactions, like I said, the news, and we've got our series Agree or Disagree, where we ask some of you guys to send in your opinions and we say whether we agree or disagree and why.
Cool. And all links will be down in the description below. Like I said, guys, thank you so much for coming on. And thank you so much for watching as well. This is the last episode of the Podium podcast. It probably won't be coming back next year. So you've rounded off with I think a pretty good episode. I'll give you that one, lads. Well done.
Thank you.
So yeah, make sure you go and check out the F1 debate show down in the description below. And let us know in the comments below your bold predictions. We didn't do a prediction section today, but let us know your bold predictions for 2021 and what you think is going to happen down there. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you all in the next one.